Hey look, I'm making a hurricane video, which means it's time to pay attention. Everyone go start buying toilet paper. I'm just kidding. I've been watching some of the YouTube weathermen, and I'm not going to point any fingers at anyone in specific, but these people are getting ridiculous. Do I not upload enough hurricane updates, or do these YouTube weathermen just seem to upload as many as humanly possible to rake in them views? Now, I'm not knocking the grind. I'm asking you guys a question. Do you guys want more frequent updates on storms, even if it's not that serious? Something that I want to note, first and foremost, is if there is a storm moving into the Gulf of Mexico, it is definitely something that you have to pay attention to. Gulf Coast storms are tricky and fickle and very unpredictable storms. The Gulf Coast of Mexico is where some of the craziest stuff has ever happened with hurricanes that any of us have ever seen. Now, if I'm not pointing fingers at anyone, it's Mike's weather page. I actually like him a lot. I enjoy him. He lives in Florida. He usually has a pretty good take on hurricanes. So if you want a really in-depth look, I'll link his channel below. But some of these guys like, there's a hurricane 14 days from now. I saw some dude that was like, there's going to be a potential category 4 hurricane in the Gulf of Mexico. And it wasn't even a storm at all. And it's just been a lot. I feel like this hurricane season in particular, I'm seeing a lot more YouTuber weathermen and a lot more fear-mongering. I don't like using that term at all, but they really are making it seem like it's going to be something super gnarly, like devastating impacts, when we don't even have any idea what's going on. This hurricane, this storm that everyone's talking about right now, this guy right here it could go to Hawaii right now. We just don't know yet. Before I dive in, I want to let you guys know that proceeds from these videos go towards supporting hurricane relief efforts. We've been supporting relief efforts for the last 5 years, so drop a like, really helps out, and we'll dive in. So I'm just always tried to be reliable. Being reliable and frequently posting are definitely two different things in my opinion. I just don't want to be the guy telling you that there's potentially a hurricane 2 weeks out. I usually only make videos about hurricanes when I think that it's important and that we're going to see a significant impact somewhere. In the last 5 years, I've covered every single hurricane that at least hit Florida. I missed one storm this season because I was out of town. It was the last hurricane that hit the northern Gulf of Mexico and hit Louisiana, which actually wasn't that serious of a storm at the end of the day, luckily. Other than that, my predictions this year have been pretty damn good. If you're new here, my name is Jack Tenney of the JoogSquad. I've lived in Florida for 29 years. I started tracking hurricanes because of waves. Now I track them so that we can have an educated conversation based on everything that we have learned from the past, from field experience, from being in the ocean, and from just sitting down and looking at models. We play around, we look at all the models, and then we make some educated guesses. Now, I'm not allowed to say that I am a weather expert for legal reasons. I am a weather enthusiast. If you want a weather expert, you go to the National Hurricane Center. That link is also in the description. I will make mistakes. I will make more mistakes. I'm not perfect, but I'm genuinely passionate about tracking hurricanes. When I'm not sitting down filming hurricane videos, pretty much every 30 minutes or every hour, I am checking up on storms, at least when it looks like this. So let's dive into the storm and why it could be one of the largest storms in human history. Just kidding. It actually could be a pretty large system, and we can get into why. All right, first we'll talk about the winds. All right, here we go. We got windy. This is where our system is supposed to be, or at least where it's supposed to be coming from. Now, if you look here at the Pacific winds, these Pacific winds are potentially going to juice up this storm if it can start forming. Then we look at the Caribbean winds. Boom, this is all going to start pushing some moisture and some wind and some strength into the potential storm that is not even a storm yet. Then we have this north wind as well. All these things are kind of feeding the counterclockwise spin needed for a storm to form. So that is very interesting. This is windy. It's windy.com. It kind of paints a picture for what a lot of the models are saying. Okay, so here we have Tuesday, Wednesday. Something starts to form off the Yucatan Peninsula, off of Cuba, moves into the Gulf of Mexico. As you can see, that is a very large system, and there's just a lot going on there. Potentially huge system is what the models are showing, just in terms of size. There's a lot at play here, and there's many factors that could very easily strengthen this system. Now, we don't have a center of circulation yet. It's just simply too early. But given the conditions that this storm is existing around, it's definitely a storm worth mentioning and looking at, for sure. Until we have an eye wall, though, and a defined center of circulation, this thing, like I said, it could go to Hawaii. Over the last 20 years, if I've learned anything, it's that you can't ever know for sure. And you can't make any real guesses until the storm is 2 to 3 days out. Right now, we're looking at a storm hitting next weekend. 1 week out, according to the models. So it's Saturday. There we go. Friday, Saturday. Now, I watch every single storm weeks and weeks out. I've been watching this potential blob for days and days now. And the NHC actually just recognized it as a potential system 2 days ago. National Hurricane Center. This is where you want to be. I was really hoping for an update before making this video from National Hurricane Center, but they're not exactly flying into it or anything right now. That'd be a waste of resources because it's too early. They give it a 60% chance of cyclone formation over the next 7 days. I think that is going to change overnight. I bet that we hit 90% chance of cyclone formation by tomorrow afternoon. That's just my guess. We have some convection going on. Oh, check this out. I like to look at the surf forecast. It says it's going to be 8 to 10 feet at my house on Friday. That's never happened before. I don't think that's going to happen. Convection, National Hurricane Center. Satellite. Look, we have storms blowing up down in the Caribbean. Now, once all those storms blow up, and if it does start to spin, we'll kind of get an idea of where the center of this thing is and where it might go. We don't even have that yet. We look at the GFS. These are just models. There's a bunch of different models. What we do is we look at all the models, and then we compare and contrast. This is tropicaltidbits.com. It's a great website for looking at all the different models. Here you see our storm down south of Florida, moving into the Gulf. Whoa, that did not look like that when I looked at it earlier. Whoa. All right, so the GFS is scary, and that's why people are talking about it, because if that played out, that's a very dangerous situation for Florida. I laugh because it's just like, I looked at this like 20 minutes ago and it didn't look like that. And now it's just like, it's kind of scary looking, but it's not scary because it's too far away. We're going to look back at this one. I should refresh every single one now. Nothing. Something. Up, moves into the Gulf. This has it going a lot more west than the other storm and definitely not as dangerous. So the thing about this storm is there is going to be a steering current that comes into play here. There's a frontal line moving up from the north. Let me get back to windy. Maybe we'll be able to see it there. Yeah, this frontal line right here. See this? This is moving from the north. And historically, from what I've seen, when these frontal lines move down as hurricanes are moving into the Gulf, it pushes the storms to the east. So if we have this frontal line up here, I think the odds of it hitting Texas are very, very slim. I think that we're going to see between Louisiana and the Panhandle for this one if it moves into the Gulf, given the fact that we have a steering current coming up from the north side of the United States. Something to look at, something to consider. We don't really know much. Here we go, Mike's weather page. Look, he's got all this stuff that we can look at. There we go, sea surface temperature. It's hot, it's warm. That's another ingredient to make a hurricane. Look at that. Warm water. If you look at this, we're maxing out the scale here. We're maxing out the scale for how hot it is. What else does Mike have for us? It's just, let's talk about it. We can look at it. We can talk about it. You guys let me know if you want me to talk about it more. If you enjoy me talking about hurricanes, talking about storms, and just hanging out with you guys, I'm down. I'll do it more. I'll film more updates. I love hurricanes. I can't pretend like I don't enjoy hurricanes. I catch some of the best waves of my entire life, and I've had some of the best memories of my entire life during hurricanes. I, of course, always hope that they're not that bad, and that nobody gets hurt, and that my house isn't destroyed, and all that good stuff, but it's like it's an adrenaline rush. It's like chasing a lightning storm. Like, I don't want to get struck, I just want to get close, and I want to see it. Hard to explain, but again, drop a like, support hurricane relief efforts. We'll keep an eye on this thing together. I post updates on my Instagram story a little bit more frequently than I do here on YouTube. Outside of that, that's all I got. So peace out. Have a nice day. Stay safe. Stay informed. And don't listen to these crazy YouTube weathermen that say that there's a hurricane coming 10 days out, because they have no idea what they're talking about, quite frankly. I mean, it's like potential devastation. It's like there's always potential devastation. We know that that hurricanes are potentially devastating. It's like, you know what, damn it, we are in the peak of hurricane season. It could be dangerous. Like, we know that there are hurricanes during hurricane season, but like to say 10 days out that you have any idea We don't. We don't know. That's all I have. Thank you. Goodbye.